Hello everyone, this is Bear from Elliott Wave. You're about to watch yesterday's video that was updated on Patreon. Just a reminder, you can access daily video by subscribing to the Patreon at $12.69 a month. The schedule, as you can see here, is Monday stocks, Tuesday indices and gold, stocks. We like stocks, and then some cryptos as well over the weekend. So as you can see, you get about 6 videos per week, and usually one request video where you guys ask me what you want me to analyze, and I'll usually record it once or twice a week. So if you don't want to miss out on any videos like this, I'll see you on Patreon. There is a 7-week free trial. I hope to see you soon. Good morning everyone, today is Friday the 21st of November, and as every Friday we're going to be taking a look at gold and indices. Now, how by now all of you have seen the weekly schedule. I uploaded it on the dashboard. So it's kind of the home page of the Patreon, so you'll find it in there. Yeah, without further ado, let's get started. Remember, it's not financial advice. It's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I kind of say this at the same speed when I remember in the US, they usually, when they do ads for medicines, so for drugs, they usually read some of the disclaimer at like 3x what a normal human being would sound like speaking. Quite interesting. Anyways, the DAX. So across the board, everything is moving as expected. Okay. As a matter of fact, in yesterday's video, at some point around minute 8, I just rewatched it. I look at SMH, look at the Nasdaq, and I say, look, that's a Nasdaq. The Nasdaq yesterday was, at this time, so European morning, the Nasdaq was up 0.9%. I said, look, the Nasdaq is up, but I see 3. So I'm not going for it. We're going to come down even lower. And look at what we did yesterday. So, as usual, that's good for 2 things. One, blah, blah, blah. It makes me look good in front of you, and it means that I potentially have an idea of what is going on. I prefer the second. So, that being said, I switched here just to make things look nicer, actually. But as I said last time, it doesn't really matter. WXY into wave 2. We're still looking for this wave 2. If you remember, a couple of weeks ago, probably just last week, I said, look, we've been ranging. We either break 25 or we either break 23. Now, what we did yesterday is we bounced our 23, which doesn't mean we're safe and we can buy at 100x leverage, blah, blah, blah. What it means is interesting, okay? From another way perspective, I see this and I think, interesting. Let's see what happens, which is basically what I'd say for everything. Now, here, as usual, remember, I don't do this up-label, but I see, like, here's 5, 3, 3, and potentially 5 or 5 here. So again, it's a game of trust. I just don't want to label it because otherwise you just don't see anything. But I see them, no worries. So yeah, it's kind of early. Futures are up. Oh, future missed this. Okay, so we're actually here. We're at 23. Oh, it's interesting because that could be the 5 wave indeed. Nope. So the sorry guys, we're still getting better, but not 100% yet, but much better. Okay, so we're 23 even, so we're around here with the futures. So it's interesting, very interesting. So let's see what happens. But yeah, until we get a clear picture, it's better to just stay away from it. Obviously, that's a box. I'll just leave it there for a couple of days. I'll leave you to it. And I'll leave you to it. But overall, it's good. If this is correct, this could be an interesting opportunity. Excuse me. Sorry, but as usual, I can't breathe. It could be an interesting opportunity for long term. If I'm right. If I'm wrong, then minor 5 could be here, and that. But we'll see. I'll talk about it in just a second. So, the Dow moving as expected. At this point, I'd be happy with a bottom in place soon. Now, you could argue. You could ask me, could we move wave 3 here? My answer is yes. Sorry. Yes, you could do that. Excuse me. Okay. You could do that. But, I mean, with no but, you could do it. Okay, you can manage it. I mean, you could argue this doesn't look the nicest. Kind of like the same also for the other indices. Mainly the S&P. The Nasdaq is a bit clearer in my opinion. But you could do that. However, for the time being, so with that in mind, because remember, a good electrician always have alternative accounts in mind. At least, if not on paper. So we do have some on paper, but it's always good to have in mind as well. If you only have one count, then you're blindsided, then you're gonna lose a lot of money. All right. So possible. Okay. You could argue this is. Okay. You could argue many things. You could label it as. That's as I always say. When I go into the hourly and I start labeling this small structure, that's when mistakes happen. Like the amount of mistakes I do goes up exponentially. Okay. So as long as I'm on the hourly, but I label this, I see a 3-wave move, right? If I start labeling this, that's tricky. It doesn't mean I can do it. I can do it, but I know I will make many more mistakes than I would do than just by labeling this 3 waves. Okay, so it's a matter of, do you want precision, accuracy, or do you want to just see labels on the chart? So, anyways, could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a bottom here. So 45,000 is our big guy. And as you can see, also we have previous support here. So let's wait and see what happens. So the Dow is actually, yeah, it's up slightly, but let's see what happens. But we could be getting close to the bottom. Let's see. Also, I'll share in the chat a video about my MasterCard. I think it's quite interesting. All right, the Nasdaq. So I did some. Just give me a second. Sorry, I ran out of tissues. So I did some labeling, but I have a few things to talk about. So again, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, I wasn't buying it. I wasn't going for it. I said, look, this is 3, and I was right. Now, what I'm wondering is, so you're looking at, so at this point, just to make things clear, I'm going for discount. 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, it's super bullish, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I know. It's an Nasdaq. Now, your counter argument could be, look, in the past 15 years, the returns on the S&P and the Nasdaq have been outrageous. And I'll say, yes, you're correct. But what prevents us from having the same returns, and maybe 10 years down the line, we'll see a stagnation the last 20 years? Nobody knows. So, I'm going for discount. Long story short. So, when it comes to do the sub-labeling, I came up with this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, diagonal in A, up in B. Now usually the wave B, in this case, after a diagonal, will end here, near the wave 2 of the diagonal, which clearly didn't. So Doesn't mean it's not a wave B, it's not a diagonal in A and not a wave B. No, it doesn't mean that. It means that perhaps it's good to look at something else. But what have we done yesterday that is really important? We found resistance, tested resistance on top of 25. So that's not really bullish. So no reason to be bullish right now. So if I'm right, we'll explore another alternative count in just a second. That's a box at 23, 4. Okay, so let's do this. Let's zoom out and look. Oh, what have we got at that price? Support, and potentially, if I'm correct, a wave 4 on 1 lesser degree, which for reference is a common tendency for a wave 4, so for a wave 2 to near the wave 4 on 1 lesser degree. Okay, and look, this looks regular TA, blah blah blah, like a head and shoulder. Head and shoulder is nothing but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. Okay, I hope I open your mind with that, but yeah, that's all it is. So it actually makes sense. Okay, so at this rate, oh, by the way, for record, 12%, nice. That's a nice. So basically, what I'm saying is, I would consider this as a Christmas discount. Okay, everything is on sale, which doesn't mean buy. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. No. What I will most likely do in my long-term, that's a keyword, long-term portfolio, I'll see if I want to buy more of the S&P. I haven't bought an ETF on the S&P in a long time. Or I'll see if I want to dig into some more of the stocks that I have. Maybe Amazon. And Google is already really high. I should have bought more back in the days. That's always what happens. When things go right, why didn't I buy more? When things go bad, why did I buy? It's always the same story. So I gotta be happy. So that's one way to look at it. Sorry for the rant, but I know I'm spending a lot of time on this because I know it's gonna be watched by most of you. As a matter of fact, I should probably post this on YouTube. I'll do it. So, alternative count. Perfect. Oh, God. So let's do this. So with alternative count, I'm going to stick to the 1-2 thesis. But before we do so, I want to go over to the S&P, and you'll see why. So with the S&P, remember we have 2 accounts available. A wave 4, or just like the Nasdaq, a wave 1 and 2. Okay? Now which one is it? I don't know. It's possible it's this one you're looking at right now, same as Nasdaq. It will make sense, wouldn't it? Now, what is interesting, on the Nasdaq, this low here is below this low, which is why I label it as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for an ending diagonal. Here, I can't. Okay? So, that opens up different scenarios. So either now we start doing something like this, in an ending diagonal in wave C. Okay? So maybe we start to get a series of overlapping waves. Sorry, gotta blow my nose again. Sorry guys. It'll go away, probably in May. So the futures, as you can see, are basically flat. So that's one way to look at it. Or I don't know, maybe you just put A here, an ugly wave B here, which looks more like a W and X. W, X. Okay? And then down in Y to go back here. So ultimately, that's the next area. Okay, where, as I like to say, I would expect traffic. It is slightly below 6,500, which, you know, it's an important number. It's the bottom of... Wait, give me a second. No, it's medium level in this case. Because 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 are major levels, Fibonacci numbers. 65 is between 5 and 8. So it's a medium level. So it's quite important. Sorry. So, in a nutshell, what we're expecting is downside, a bit more downside. We could see a slight bounce across the board, but overall further downside towards those areas we highlighted for both the S&P and the Nasdaq. The Dow we're forecasting less downside. We'll see. And with the DAX, it is what it is. So, and as usual, any question, guys, just ask. Last but not least, gold, which unfortunately, so once again, I don't have really much to say. So we're going to stick to this count, okay? So we went over different counts, blah, 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 you guys know it. You've seen Tuesday video. So we're going to stick to this count. Now, I'm not saying the bottom is in place. I'm not saying wave B is in place. We could turn out to have a sideways wave B. It's highly possible, okay? But overall, I'll be expecting one more leg lower into this wave 4. Now, alternatively, we could start to move sideways into a triangle in wave 4. So overall, I'm still looking for a correction, an ongoing correction. I don't see a bottom in place, so I'm still looking for that correction. And as I always say with corrections, you never know which step you're gonna get until you get it. So we can monitor it. We can see if it's still correcting. But other than that, trying to forecast a correction is kind of like asking your ex every day, "Why did you leave me?" It's always the same story. She'll say, I don't love you anymore." And you'd be like, "Oh, but why?" So it's the same thing. You're like, "Oh, it's correcting, but why? What was it? What's it doing? I don't know. Nobody knows." When it's over, it'll be over. You figure it out. Just like when you let it go, oh God, what a poet I am today. And on that note, have a great weekend, everyone. As usual, if you have questions, please let me know. And I'll see you over the weekend with cryptos. Take care.